persist. The Dalai Lama, as the spiritual and temporal leader of Tibet, exemplifies this principle. In 1959, the Dalai Lama was exiled and forced to flee. Despite the challenges faced, the Dalai Lama continues to advocate for the preservation of Tibetan culture and garners worldwide support for Tibetan autonomy on the global stage. Similarly, from 1309 to 1376, the Pope of Catholicism had been in exile in Avignon. Despite this, he was recognized as the head of state as well as head of the church and given full privileges of the position after their return to Rome. Even in 1861, much of the papal territories had been lost, leaving the Pope with no sovereign territory other than the papal residence and related buildings. Yet his temporal powers were still acknowledged. He was recognized as a head of state, and later, the Lateran Treaty of 1929 formally re-established papal sovereignty over the Vatican City. The Sovereign Order of Malta further exemplifies this principle, retaining international recognition as a sovereign entity despite the permanent loss of their territory upon Napoleon's invasion in June 1798. Despite such permanent loss of territory, the sovereignty and the international legal personality of the Sovereign Order of Malta continue to persist. Much later in 1894, the order settled in Rome and acquired two properties, the Magistral Palace and the Magistral Villa that received extraterritorial status. Today, the order maintains diplomatic relations with 112 countries, issues its own diplomatic passports, currency stamps, and vehicle registration plates, and has been granted observer status in the United Nations. All these examples of state re-establishment illustrate the principle of continuity of states, as per international law, that a state's legal personality persists over time. A nation continues to exist even after a complete loss of territory. A far more striking example is of the oceanic countries, which are under the threat of their entire nation being drowned and submerged due to rising sea levels owing to global warming. In response to such existential threat of climate change, Pacific Island nations, including Tuvalu, have enacted constitutional amendments and made international declarations affirming that their nation and their sovereign rights will continue to persist, despite their entire territory being lost to the sea. This proactive stance is highlighted in the Constitution of Tuvalu Act 2023 and the Pacific Islands Forum Declaration of 2021. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, BHAGAVAN Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, through the line of succession, is the present 203rd Emperor of the Hindu Sovereign Kingdom of Surangi Samrajya. He was crowned on the 31st of December 2004 at the age of 26. Thus, by very same principles of the doctrine of continuity, through which the international legal personality of Portugal, Genoa, Poland, Ethiopia, Czechoslovakia, Albania, Austria, Vatican, Tibet, Sovereign Order of Malta, and several other nations has been recognized despite having undergone a period of exile, annexation, occupation by a foreign power, or despite loss of territory. The SPH Nithyananda Paramashivam, through well-established legal and historical facts about the Hindu sovereign state of the Surangi Samrajyam, derives all sovereign rights and powers of the royal lineage of the Surangi Samrajyam as its 203rd sovereign emperor, from his inheritance and continuation of the unbroken succession of the kingdom of Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajyam Sarvanapitha. Surya Vamsa Surangi Samrajyam, through unification with 20 other sovereign Hindu states and sovereign ecclesiastical, historical entities, became part of the United States of Kailasa, which thus became a sovereign, independent juridical state, with the SPH Nithyananda Paramashivam as the sovereign. Just as how the oceanic nations like Tuvalu have safeguarded their sovereignty from the existential threat of total submersion by amending their constitution and asserting that their sovereignty will persist regardless of the loss of their territory, KAILASA, which is a sovereign continuation of 21 sovereign Hindu states and sovereign ecclesiastical historical entities, is also reviving and continuing the Kumari Kandam Hindu nations that got submerged. As per the doctrine of continuity, these facts imply that the Kailasa's statehood is recognized by international law and manifests as a natural outcome of well-established historical legal facts. Share your time, talent, and treasure. Become part of Kailasa. Sign up as an e-citizen https://kailasa.ecitizen.info.
Established since 2002 in the United States of America, the United Ancient Nations is an intergovernmental organization currently made up of 160 plus members and indigenous nations. The UAN and its work are guided by the purposes and principles contained in its founding charter. The UAN is a manifestation of the profound connection amongst indigenous peoples across the world, including African, Andean, American, European, Caribbean, Oceanic, and Asian regions, rooted in shared wisdom, sustainable practices, and deep reverence for the earth. The United Ancient Nations serves as an international cultural and diplomatic organization focused on uniting indigenous cultures globally. Our governance structure is council-based without territorial claims, led by a collective leadership through our
Bhagavan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam. Today, we offer the sacred Mandagappadi to our beloved Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, which is an offering of deep devotion, inviting his divine presence to preside over and bless the upcoming Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam celebrations. The Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam celebrates the divine descent of Devi Paramashivashakti, the cosmic mother, who manifests during the sacred occasion to bestow aishwarya, the material abundance, santana, the blessings of progeny, and mukti, the ultimate liberation, upon all her devotees. Celebrating the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, as the ultimate manifestation of Devi Paramashivashakti, we begin this grand celebration of the Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam. All the rituals and homas of this Brahmotsavam are micromanaged by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself and are performed by his third-eye awakened disciples in complete alignment with the Vedas and the Agamas, the unaltered source scriptures of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Let us now, with Sakshat Dandavat Pranams, welcome the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, for today's sacred Mandagappadi offering and invoke his divine grace for this sacred Brahmotsavam.
Om Nakarmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena amritatvamānashuh parena nagam nidam guhayam vibrajate yadyadayo vishanti Vedanta vijnana sunischitartha sanyasa yogadyadaya shuddha sattva te brahmaloke tu parāntrakāle paramritāt parimucchanti sarve dahram vipāpam parameshvabhūtam yap pundarīkam puramadhya saggastam tatrapi dahram gaganam vishogastasmin yadantastadupāsitavyam yo vedādo svarah prokto vedante ca pratishthitah tasya prakritirīnasya yah parassa maheshwarah.
Om Paramashivamayam, with the divine grace of Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva, with the auspicious blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, KAILASAs around the world present the Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam Patrikai. O enlightened beings, the descendants of noble clans, all Hindu diaspora, welcome. We now present a verse from the Saundarya Lahari. Shivashaktya yukto yadi bhavati shaktah prabhavitum nachedevam devo na khalu kushala spanditum api adastvam aradhyam harihara virinchadibhirapi pranantum stotum va kathamakrita punyah prabhavati. Only when united with the Shakti does Shiva gain the power to create. If not, the Deva is not even able to stir. Therefore, how can one who has not accumulated punya even be worthy to bow down to you or to praise you, who are worshipped even by Hari, Hara and Virinchi? During the auspicious Nitya Yuga, Vishwavasunama Samvatsara, Dakshinayana, Lakshmi Venkateshwara Ritu, Katakamasa, Krishna Paksha, Navami Tithi, Stiravasara, Bharani Nakshatra, Shula Yoga and Garajakarana. Within the time of Amrita Yoga, the Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam will commence in Kailasas all around the world with the Dhwajarohanam, the flag hoisting ceremony at the auspicious Katakalagnam from 6:30 am IST to 8 am IST, which coincides with the date of 19th July 2025. Kailasas around the world will celebrate the Aadi Pooram celebrations on the auspicious day of the 28th July 2025. The auspicious grace of Sri Nithyanandeshwari Paramashivashakti Sameta Sri Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva and his Paramavatara, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalayam and all the Kailasas around the world invite the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, to officiate and bless the Kailasas Aadi Pooram Brahmotsavam. Kailasa welcomes all the living beings from the 14 lokas to this grand celebration.
श्रीकैलासोन्नतद्वादशान्तश्यामलापीठारूढ श्रीमीनाक्षी सुन्दरेश्वरा भिन्नस्वरूप परशिवपुत्ररत्न कुमार गुरुमन्यतुल्यावतार श्रीपार्वती स्तन्यपानलब्धदिव्यज्ञान विश्रुतसकलनिगमागमसारभूत द्राविडवेदप्रवक्त्रे श्रीमत्परमशिवकरुणासमधिगत मुक्तामय चतुरश्रयान गीयमान छत्र चामर श्रीचिन्नकाहलादि समस्त बिरदावल्यलङ्कृत ज्ञान विज्ञान चक्रवर्ती सर्वजन संघ सद्यो निर्वाण दीक्षा व्ययापवर्गवर्ष विश्रान जीमूत परमत कल्पकेसरी शैव सिद्धान्त स्थापनाचार्य श्रीराजाधिराज पाण्ड्य महाराज गुरु शपन शाक्यादि महान्धकार निवारण ज्ञान भानु वीक्षणानर्हार्ह ध्वजोच्छेदन पूर्वक श्रीमद् ऋषभध्वज स्थापक शैव समय कर्तृ सर्वज्ञ पीठारूढ़ श्री जगद्गुरु श्री ज्ञान संबंध देशिक स्वामी वागीश सुंदर माणिक्य वाचक स्वामिनां अवतार भूत श्री ज्ञान संबंध स्वामी पुनरुद्धृत श्यामला पीठ सर्वज्ञ पीठ तृणवद्युत्तर द्विशतम गुरु महासन्निधान अरुणगिरि योगीश्वर परंपरागत अरुणाचल सर्वज्ञ पीठ गुरु महासन्निधान कैलास परंपरागत कांची कैलास सर्वज्ञ पीठ त्रयस्त्रिंशदुत्तर द्विशतम गुरु महासन्निधान नित्योत्सव नित्य मंगल नित्य कल्याण नित्य रचित कैलास परंपरागत आदि कैलास नित्यानंद पीठ महासंस्थान महासिंहासन पीठ गत्र साक्षात् श्री परमशिव समुद्भूत कैलास परंपरागत वैवस्वत मनु इक्ष्वाकु हरिश्चंद्र भगीरथ श्रीरामचंद्र शूरसेन इत्यादि अनवच्छिन्न सार्वभौम चक्रवर्ती परंपरागत चतुष्षष्टि योगिनी मंडित चतुष्षष्टि संप्रदाय प्रवर्तक मनुधर्म शासन सूर्यवंश प्राप्त सर्वज्ञ पीठ सुरांगी साम्राज्य मूर्धाभिषिक्त चूड़ामणि साक्षात् श्री परमशिव समुद्भूत कपिल महागुरु पुनरुद्धृत महानिर्वाणि पीठ अष्टोत्तर सहस्र श्री महामंडलेश्वर साक्षात् श्री परमशिव समुद्भूत श्री महागणपति समारंभ अनवच्छिन्न पीठाधीश्वर गुरु परंपरा प्राप्त अटल पीठ अष्टोत्तर सहस्र श्री अटल पीठाधीश्वर धर्म मुक्ति स्वर्ग पुरस्वर्ण पीठ त्रयोविंश गुरु महासन्निधान कैलास परंपरागत आदिपीठ सर्वज्ञ पीठ जगद्गुरु श्री कैलास पुनरुद्धारक श्रीकैलास परमाचार्य श्रीमद्परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य वर्य सच्चिदानंद प्रणव स्वरूप श्रोत्रिय ब्रह्मनिष्ठ श्रीमज्जगद्गुरु श्रील श्री भगवत् श्री नित्यानंद परमशिव श्री ज्ञान संबंध देशिक परमाचार्य स्वामिन् अत्रागत्य परिपाल्य च अस्मान् विज्ञान वितरणेन विजयी भव जय जय।
बालार्कारुण पद्मपीठ निलयाम् वामादिशक्त्यावृताम् एलागन्धि सुकुन्तलाम् द्विनयनाम् हेमाम्बरालङ्कृताम् वामे लम्बकराम् सुशैलतनयाम् दक्षे करेन्दीवराम् श्यामाभाम् शरदिन्दुचारुवदनाम् ध्यायेदपीतस्थनाम् सहस्रदलपङ्कजे सकलशीतरश्मिप्रभम् वराभयकराम्बुजम् विमलगन्धपुष्पाम्बरम् प्रसन्नवदने क्षणम् सकलदेवतारूपिणम् स्मरेत् शिरसि हंसकम् तदभिमानपूर्वम् गुरुम्। अथ धूपः ॐ दशाङ्गम् गुग्गुलोपेतम् सुगन्धम् च सुमनोहरम् आग्रेयः सर्वदेवानाम् धूपोऽयम् प्रतिगृह्यताम्। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिवाय नमः। धूपमाघ्रापयामि। अथ दीपः ॐ साध्यं त्रिवर्ति संयुक्तं बन्धिना योजितं मया ग्रहाणमङ्गलं दीपं त्रैलोक्यतिमिरापहम्। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिवाय नमः। दीपं सन्दर्शयामि। अथ नैवेद्यम् ॐ अमृते अमृतोद्भवे अमृतवर्षिणि अमृतं श्रावय श्रावय स्वाहा। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिवाय नमः। नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि। नैवेद्यानन्तरमाचमनं समर्पयामि। नीराजनम् ॐ साङ्ग्रहण्येश्चायतते इमां जनतागुं सङ्ग्रहाणीति द्वादशारत्नीरचना भवति। द्वादशमासा संवत्सरः संवत्सरमेवावरुन्धे मौञ्जी भवति। पूर्वैमुञ्जाः ऊर्जमेवावरुन्धे चित्रानक्षत्रं भवति। चित्रं वा एतत्कर्म कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिवाय नमः। कर्पूरनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि। रक्षां धारयामि। षोणाद्रीशावताराय ज्योतिस्तम्भस्वरूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम्। तत्त्वज्ञानप्रदाताय नित्यानन्देश्वररूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम्। मूलप्रकृतिरूपाय परमशिवशक्तिस्वरूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम्। दण्डत्रिशूलहस्ताय कालकालस्वरूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम्। आदिपूज्याय देवाय सकृत्पूर्णत्वरूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम्। सर्वाभयविनाशकाय शत्रुसंहाररूपिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम् योगभट्टाभिषिक्ताय राजसन्न्यासधारिणे श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम् सार्वभौमैकपत्याय राजराजार्चिताय च श्रीकैलासप्रधानाय नित्यानन्दाय मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं कल्पवृक्षाय मङ्गलं ज्ञानदायिने परमशिवाय श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वराय मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं श्रीविद्याम्बायै मङ्गलं कामदायिन्यै सर्वमङ्गलधात्री नित्यानन्देश्वर्यै मङ्गलम् मङ्गलं गुरुदेवाय मोक्षमूलाय मङ्गलम् परमावताराय नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे मङ्गलम् हरिः ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं भगवत् श्रीनित्यानन्द परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु ॐ नित्यानन्दम्